everyone loves to hear about prophecies. You know, if you talk about Hopi prophecies, everybody's ears perk up and they want, oh, tell me more. It's like, since the Hopi people started writing prophecies down, it's like everybody's looking to them as they're the ones who know what's going to happen in the world. So whether it's Hopi prophecies or Edgar Cayce or the apocalypse in the Bible, or whether it's an 8-ball or the Mayans, you know, everybody. I remember in the 60s, they said the Mayan calendar was going to end, the end of the world was going to be in the 80s, according to the Mayan calendar. Then the 80s came and we were all nobody died, and a lot of people were disappointed that the Mayan calendar wasn't right. And then all of a sudden the Mayan calendar got an extension, and into like, and now it's like, I think the 1912 or something, 2000 or what is it? It's extended more. But it's not the end of our life, it's the end of the Mayan world. It was their calendar, not ours. The world ends many times for many people in many ways. If you look at Eastern Washington, there were people that lived there a long time ago before it was flat, before it was all deserty. When that big glacier broke in Canada and washed everything flat, there were people living there, and that was the end of the world for them. You know, when the Mediterranean filled up, you know, Moses built that boat, that was the end of the world for a lot of people who were living in that valley at one time. You know, when the last of the Neanderthals died on the coast of Gibraltar, that was the end of the world for a lot of those people, except the leftover ones that married into the Republicans. I promised my wife I wouldn't get political. Sorry. So the world changes. You know, there are people who are taken, I don't know any rich people, but I know people who know rich people who were taken in by that Madoff Ponzi scheme, Madoffs, and they were telling me about a family who had this great big house on the hill, and they built a special room for one of their pieces of art, and you know, the house wasn't even paid for, and everything was involved in the Madoffs, and they lost everything, and they're poor like everybody else now. And they lost it all, and the end of the world came for that family. And some people are taking their life because it's the end of the world. And the Great Depression was the end of the world for many people. So, you know, looking at the end of the world, it never truly ends. It ends for some people, and it begins for other, and there's a change. In the Lakota way of being, Grandpa said, our world ended, we're the 7th generation to live beyond the end of the world. The end of the world happened in the 1880s when the last of the buffalo were killed and people were forced to live in a whole different life. There was a prediction at the time in the future that life would change, that people would be living in square houses. There was a prediction that there would be a time when the earth would be paved over in stone. There was a time, it was predicted that there would be a time when you couldn't drink the water from the creeks, when the air would be smoggy and dirty, a time when the food would be poisoned and suspect. There would be those times when there'd be a contamination of the mind. There was a time when the hoop would be broken and the people would be scattered all over the country and surrounded and engulfed. The Hopi call it Koyanith Skatsi, the world in disorder. Didn't mean everybody be dead, but the world came to an end 7 generations ago, according to Lakota prophecy. So we're the 7th generation after the end, after the change. It's like, well, what do we do in this? We've survived the end of the world. Where do we go from here? We're living in this place, chaos and upheaval and everything change. In one way, it's really depressing. In another way, it's full of potential because everything is reborn and starts again. And there's always like a little kernel and a seed of people.